Welcome to Eclectic Religion. I'm Oliver James. This is a very special episode because this is completely unscripted. I just have not really been in my right mind lately. A couple of big changes since last week. First and foremost, I highlighted my hair. It's real pretty. My hair's sticking up and back. And knee surgery. That happened on Tuesday morning. Primarily what I'm going to talk about today. So the surgery process, like, I can't say enough about the people that did the surgery, the nurses, the doctors, the anesthesiologists. They were all fantastic. But the process itself is just, like, really funny, like all the hoops that they have to jump through legally and stuff. Like, I still have an S that I had to write on my leg, on the knee that I was getting surgery on, that stood for surgical. So they knew to operate on that side. Not because they didn't know, but because in the past there have been lawsuits. So that's pretty much tattooed right on there. So the first thing you do is, like, first of all, they ask you a bunch of questions, and it's like, when I did it, it was like 7 in the morning, 7:30, 7:45 in the morning. It was pretty early. I know I almost jumped an hour there from when I said 7 to 7:45, almost an hour. It was really early in the morning. I wasn't really prepped to ask questions, and they're dumb questions. Oh my God, are you allergic to anything that's gonna kill you while you're in surgery? You know, stupid stuff. So then I go back, and the first thing they do is hand me a hospital gown, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and have you just change right into this. Be sure to tie up the little cords in the back if you don't want us to see anything. Of course, the cords are conveniently located in the top center of your back where you can't reach both hands at the same time to tie it anyway, so I think they just say that just to piss you off. She's like, oh, and we'll let you change, and it'll be all great. And I was like, you don't even really have to secure the room. There's nothing surprising down there. I think everyone knows what goes on down there. So, yeah, you know, I'll just change. And through the whole time, I know they're trying to make me feel better, but I kept getting the question, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? My parents come back to sit with me while I'm waiting to go into surgery, and I have a blood pressure cuff around my arm. I have one of those heart rates, tell us how much oxygen you have in your blood. Can't remember the word for it. I have one of those on my finger. I have an IV in my the inside of this elbow. And, you know, my parents come back and they're like, oh, honey, how are you doing? This is almost as much fun as Disney World. That's really... Man, they were wrong when they said that Disney was the happiest place on earth. It is right here. And anyway, it ended up going very well. I think the hardest part for me was that I didn't really know what they were going to do in there. They didn't know what they were going to do in there until they got in, because it all depended on something that they couldn't really tell from an MRI. It had to do with the quality of the cartilage that was in there. They weren't able to detect that from an MRI. So they had to go in there and look. It turned out best case scenario, even though what they did only has like a 50% success rate. So keep praying. I really hope that I don't have to go in for another one. So surgery went well. I'm alive. And pretty much for the rest of the episode, I'm just going to talk about all the thoughts that have plagued me this whole week, because I've done a lot of sitting because I have to keep my leg elevated. I won't be able to put weight on it for 6 weeks, so until the end of my semester, which is really going to kill me. So this is just like a montage of all the thoughts that have been plaguing me this week. Are you a texter? I'm not really a texter. I text, 5,000 times a month, so not a huge amount. I really do hate texting. I'd rather that I didn't have to deal with it. I'd rather talk to people face to face than texting back and forth, even though I do it quite a bit. But, it just drives me crazy that as a society, I think that we're a little advanced to have to narrow our thoughts down to 160 characters. For example, I mean, and sometimes, my phone is a little bit, like I thought my phone was nice when I bought it. I have an Android Thunderbolt, or HTC Thunderbolt. And the only reason I got it, in all honesty, is because I had 4G, and I have 4G down where I go to school. And actually, now at home in Kalamazoo. And so I like the really fast internet. That's really the only reason I got it. Can't say I recommend it. It's not a bad phone, but like when it comes to texting, a lot of times if you get one of those like 2-page texts where the person there's 162 characters, then it'll send the second one and then the first one, and it'll just receive it in the wrong order. This might be a network thing. I don't know if it happens to everyone's phone or just mine. I'm pretty sure it's probably everyone's. Isn't that the most aggravating thing? When you get a text and it's like, I don't know, you'll just get a text and it'll be just the tail end of it, and it'll be like Doritos, ... Uh-oh. I don't know what to do after that. So mine always has a problem with not receiving the whole text thing. And founders of the Twitter, whose idea was it to pick 140 characters for a tweet instead of 160? Because if I'm texting into Twitter and it cuts off those last 20 characters, that could be catastrophic. I mean, what if it cuts off a hashtag? That's important. That's really all I got for you today. Sorry to the people that asked me to make a video while I was on heavy medicine. I took one Vicodin like a couple hours after surgery, and that's all I've taken. Other than that, I've just been on your typical over-the-counter Motrin. So just to keep down the swelling, I don't have pain or anything. So that's definitely a plus. Like I said, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and tune in next Friday. We should have another video coming your way. This time back on campus in my lovely dorm room. If there's something you want to see for next week, go ahead and comment below. I do get the comments. I do read through them. Sometimes, I got to think of content for them. So if you comment, it doesn't show up for a couple weeks, keep commenting because odds are it will eventually. I just changed my Facebook settings. So if you want to subscribe to me on Facebook, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to add you as a friend if I don't know you, so don't do that. So if you'd like to subscribe to me on Facebook, you can click right here, and that link should take you there. I just realized I'm going to have to hold this for a couple minutes so that you can go ahead and click. It'll open in a new window, so just go ahead and click it at any given time. Otherwise, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, leave a comment below if you want to see something, whatever. I'm open to it. If you don't see it for a couple weeks, it's because I'm writing stuff to, writing content for it. I need to form an opinion about it before I can really get it out there. Thank you so much for watching. I had a good time making this episode. Like I said, man, I'm just not really functioning right now. I am just so tired. I'm strapped to a machine all night that constantly runs water, like cold water, over my knees, so it keeps it, and it makes it a little bit tricky to sleep. So that's been a little bit rough. I'll see you next week. Join me next Friday. I'm Oliver James. See you later.